Hey guys, so it's a little bit late at night and I was just thinking about this quote that is very cliche. I'm sure you've all have heard of it before, but it says something to the effect of the way that you make others feel about themselves says a lot about you. And I've really been thinking about this just in the idea that the actions and the way that you the way that you affect people and the way that you treat them really does live on within them, within their thought and their hearts for a very long time. And it can be a weird concept to think that someone else can have a completely different view of yourself than you even have of yourself, or even that you thought was what your interaction was. And it's really prompted me to always be really careful and mindful of how I treat others and how that I come across to them. And when I was younger, I used to wonder about those people that were super magnetic, that would walk into a room and everyone would want to be their friends, and kind of what it was that made them like that. You know, what it was that you could kind of do to emulate that and to kind of have that same effect upon people. And when I was younger, I used to think it was about being really popular, or about being really attractive, or just really special in some way. And I realized as I've gotten older and as I've made adult friends and have gone through kind of the trials of having friends as an adult, it's definitely a much different ballgame. I realized that when you are a really likable person and you're someone that people always want to be around and you have that good positive energy, the idea is that you're someone that makes everyone else feel important. And that is a very, very valuable tool when making friends and connections, because everyone at the end of the day does feel a little bit insecure. A lot of people are a lot less open about that and don't really want to just be vulnerable in that way and explain that they maybe feel uncomfortable in certain situations, or they have a little bit of anxiety over certain ideas or around certain people. But as I've gotten older, I've realized that that's very, very common, more common than not, honestly. And even the people that are the most insecure are probably the ones that are not going to show it, or the ones that are really good at hiding at least. And the idea that when you meet someone, or when you're around them, when you're greeting someone at a bar or at a restaurant or at a friend's house or wherever it is, and it's someone you know, when you light up and you make them feel as if you've been waiting on them and as if the fact that they're there is just the best thing, you want to know about them, you're curious about their life, you're genuinely interested in how they're doing, that is so simple but so important. And I feel like it can be so forgotten in this day and age where we're all so busy with our own problems and what's going on in our own lives. And we've almost become wrapped up in not having those genuine, real connections with people, that I think people forget that the way that you make someone else feel when they're around you reflects so much of you and so much of how they think of you. I truly believe that's the big way that people are drawn to others, and people really feel like someone is a best friend, or someone is someone they want to be around all the time, or someone that they know is going to make the party or the event really fun. Because when you are that type of person that makes others feel important and validated and special, that is something that not a lot of people do. Even though it's really easy to do it and it's really kind of something you would hope that you're doing, I think people definitely do not put enough stake and mindset into that to really kind of follow through. And it definitely translates into romantic relationships as well. There's a quote that I love that said something to the effect of, "We often fall in love with people that make us the version of ourselves that we want to be when we're with them." Now that is really important. Of course, when you're in love with someone and you have those feelings and emotions for them, it should be someone that brings out the best in you. Now, of course, you should be able to be your real authentic self, show, your downfalls and your flaws, and have that person accept you and hopefully work with you through those things. But at the end of the day, they should be making you feel confident and sexy and good about yourself, and like you're spontaneous and you're living your life in the best way possible. And I've realized that as I've gotten older, that someone that makes you feel kind of dulled down, they want to kind of make you feel as if you're lucky to be with them, or as if maybe you don't deserve to be with them and you need to be on your best behavior to keep them and all this kind of stuff. That is a manipulation tactic that people that are very insecure use on others to make sure that that person doesn't leave them, or that they stay with them, or that that person feels so lucky to be chosen by this other person that they never even think of what it would be like to be on their own or be single or date someone else. And I realized that that's not healthy at all. That's definitely also not normal. Someone should want you to be successful and to be advancing in your life and to be growing and becoming better and just being the best version of yourself. And if they're holding you back in any way and kind of dulling you down and making you more of a safe option for them, that says a lot about their own state and what they're going through and what they need to feel validated, and nothing about you. And definitely as I was younger, I used to think the opposite of that. I used to think if someone made you feel like you were lucky to be with them, that meant you were, and that meant that you were special, that they chose you, and that you really should do everything in your power to keep this person and make them happy. And as I've gotten older, I've realized that the right thing is someone that makes you feel good. It makes you feel important. It makes you feel like, yes, of course, you could be a fully functioning person without them, but when you're with this other person, you're really happy and you're a great version of yourself and you're the best version of yourself. You are fully yourself in every single way. You are successful to the best of your ability. You're always advancing in life and moving up in life and becoming more and more. And that person is not insecure about that, or they are not turned off by that, or they don't dislike that or try to dull it down. They try to promote that and push that out of you. And again, with friendships, it's the same way. If someone is constantly tearing you down or questioning you or making you feel lesser, that's not a real friendship. That's not someone that wants the best for you. And someone that does make you feel validated and cared for. And there's a two-way street there where you ask them how they're doing and they genuinely listen and care about how you're doing. That is someone that you are drawn to and that you want to be around. And that's how you end up with best friends and people that you really care about and people that you always, hope are at the party or hope that show up to the event, because they're people that make you feel good about yourself. And that's just such a powerful thing, because I think it's so simple, yet it's just a little bit forgotten in these days. And it's something that I definitely have been trying to pull into my life a lot more lately. I really have been mindful of the way that I treat people, and the effect that I have on them lives on within their own mind and their own heart. And I never want to think that maybe I was unkind to someone or hurtful to them, and the way that they view me and the way that they view our interaction belongs to them. You, of course, don't get to decide if what you did to someone was right or wrong, or if it should have hurt them or should have upset them. They get to decide that. And the idea that you could do something and then have someone feel some sort of hurt or something negative against you, that's kind of a scary thought for me, and it's something that I really have been trying to keep mindful of. And honestly, I think it's been helpful in making me a better person, making me more sympathetic and kind and thoughtful, and just a little bit more careful with the way that I treat people and the way that our interactions go and the way that those kind of come out. And I challenge you guys to bring that into your own life and to try to kind of implement it and see the different changes that you'll kind of find. I definitely know that when you're a really positive, happy, nice person that gives others compliments and gives them uplifting thoughts and feelings, that comes back to you twofold, 1,000,000%. I know that when I'm being positive and really kind and loving to others, I get that back so much more in my own life, and it's something that I want to continue to do, and I hope that you guys do as well. On the same topic of negative comments and stuff, that also is something that over the years has been really tough for me. It's definitely been something difficult to kind of go through and accept, and I've realized that when someone does choose to say something really mean or hurtful to you, that does say so much more about them than even what they're choosing to say about you. Something within them is not right and is hurting and is in a negative place where they feel like they need to lash out. And it's so crazy to kind of view it like that, and to view it as that is just such more of a reflection of their character than anything they could possibly say about you. And again, that's something really mindful to practice even with other girls and women, and being competitive. And I know also being younger, definitely in high school, I remember girls saying snarky comments about other girls, and they'd see some girl and they'd make some rude comment or rude remark. And again, that just so much reads about their own insecurity and their own negativity that's going on with themselves. And the thing that they're saying about the other girl, literally bounces off of them and goes back, if that makes sense. And I know this is a very cliche and understood idea, but I just hope that you guys can be reminded of it and just kind of remember that the way that you make other people feel about themselves does say a lot about you. And I hope that you take that and you take the time to make other people feel good about themselves, so that, of course, the idea and the reflection they have of you is of a happy and loving, positive, confident person. So that's it for today's video. I'm really excited to read your comments and your thoughts on this topic, and I'll see you all later. Bye!